Now, when will that happen? I don't know. I think it'll be a while. It'll be a while before that monopoly is given. People don't give up monopolies, you know. They don't.
Well, how do we meet that threat when it comes? Susan?
Goodness. I don't know. I'll let Raj answer.
I have a couple of views that might be heresy in this audience, so I'll keep away from saying
that. I think we have so many opportunities for particularly for lifelong learning and continuing education. Because of the technological advancements, we're seeing workers who are coming back to school over and over and over again to receive more certificates. They may not need a degree program, but working professionals who need upgraded skills and certification programs. So we're seeing in vocational areas where we're able to teach people in an online format. So I think the formats that all of us are developing are really giving workers an opportunity to upgrade skills, companies an opportunity to find workers to enhance their knowledge base about new technology while they're working in a work environment. So honestly, I think that it's not a threat. It's really our mindset about how we choose to utilize and take advantage of these great technological advancements that are coming along. And quite frankly, many of us are contributing to the development of new products and services. So the North-South perspective, I think, if we really are truly collaborating together, we're taking advantage of the ability for some of us who want to develop new products and services, and other institutions have the advantage of not having to pay for those developmental costs.
Is that not an unequal partnership, though? If we're giving away what we develop in the North and the South and they're expected to take it, it strikes me as almost like a cultural imperialism.
No? The thing is, I don't think it's unequal because much of our culture in the South is not known by the North. So the exchange would be for you to get knowledge from what happens down there. So for example, I'll take an example. If you take flexibility and the managerial skills of a Brazilian manager, right? So how can that be traded off through interaction? So if you have the content to provoke as a promise of being able to communicate, then you can also get back a knowledge of how people do their stuff and how the country works and whatever. So I don't think it's unequal. It's just that you're going to have a different role in the value chain in terms of how you're going to put up the network and what you're going to benefit from it. So I still think that if we think on this matter with our present mindset, then it's going to be difficult to see what the advantages are. But once you sit down and see what the new configuration is, you're going to see what's in it for you, what's in it for me. And that maybe we haven't done enough for that in the sense of how we can contribute. I'll give you a very interesting example. We have a language barrier because we're a Portuguese-speaking country. So what we actually do is we have very few production of our cases or what happens in our country. So basically we're a massive translator of cases coming from all over. And that we've seen that change in recent years because many of our richness is gone abroad. So instead of, we have companies that are global now that come from our region. So there, I think we're starting to have things that you can trade off in the sense that it's not just the asset you're bringing in, but there are assets that you can take which are not of the same kind, but the technology and the way we're going to interact might enhance that.
Again, I don't think it's a fair statement to say giving it away. You got to ask the question, is it fair trade? Which is different. And if you also say that we do believe in things like Creative Commons, then the contribution of those who are utilizing the primary product and then improvising it and returning back for the better use of humanities, then I think it's a fair bargain. It's not a charity, and I don't think it would be correct to describe the distribution of knowledge products through OER mechanisms as giving away. And I think also it would be unfair to assume that just because something happened, something is there on the terminal, that you can just simply pull it up and use it. Stavros' comment about language is a point, but more importantly, you can't simply take a learning object and then say, I will deliver it. That learning object needs treatment.
Yes, context.
Barney mentioned this. You can't just, in a dumb way, handle it. You've got to invest in adapting it for your use in your local context. That is a cost. Now, if that thing goes back to your Creative Commons platform, it is for the better use of humanity.
Yeah,
So
that's the point.
And who bears that cost?
we, humanity, I contribute as much to a cause that I actually purchase on license in improving first the instruction from the original, because when you make a product like that, there's always room for improvement. In adapting it for Malaysian use, perhaps that use will be available for Southeast Asian use. So we actually are building on knowledge, based on knowledge, and improving continuously. We all bear that cost. It's not somebody giving away from the north to somebody who's waiting there in the south. No.
We have a question from the internet. What will be the main benefit of modern forms of e-learning? Better education, lower costs, or a broader audience? And will one suffer from the other? Susan.
I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think, I think we can benefit from all of them. And I think the better, and instead of better education, I think I would say better quality. We have the opportunity, as Raj just said, to take content from around the world, to bring it into our classrooms, to bring it into the training for our faculty, professional development for faculty as well. But in each environment, Barney has made, and Brenda have both made comments about the cross-cultural issues affecting education. And we have to take this education and ensure that we're bringing the quality of that content into our academic environment in a culturally responsive, culturally appropriate manner, culturally sensitive manner for each of our institutions. What we as educators have a responsibility to ensure that what we're bringing in and what we're accessing is of quality. There's a lot of information out there, but it's not necessarily data-driven, researched, responsive information that's appropriate for our classrooms and for our students. And so we have a responsibility to filter that information and ensure that it meets the standards. And as all of us as colleagues have a chance to work together and to collaborate on some international standards for quality. So I don't think it's just the matter of taking the information or taking the education. I think it's a matter of how we frame it, utilize it in appropriate mechanisms to ensure that we have some international standards. There are corporate universities launching every month around the world someplace that have very familiar sounding names, but we don't have students who understand the changing landscape of education. So the risk for us is that students spend their hard-earned family's money and time in an environment where it's not a quality education. They may or may not know the difference, and it doesn't matter what country they're in these days with sophisticated marketing and everything else. What we really need to invest in are counselors that are helping to ensure that students are receiving the education they need in an appropriate environment where it will achieve the end goal, whether it's a certain job or a certification or opportunity that they're seeking.
So what do you see as the new model for assuring that quality? I'll start with you, Stavros.
Well, that's, if we think of a model of assuring quality, I think you got to have specifically in terms of not only standards